welcome back to episode 136 of Tall Boy Radio. There's only two of us tonight hosting it, but our good friend Gaz is back with us after his travels around the States, and I'm afraid there's no chocolate robins tonight or any other garnishes. Do you want to say hello, dude, and tell us a little bit about what it is you're drinking?
Yeah, good to be back again. Loved the garnishes on the gin. Big shout out to the Scottish alchemists. And this week, there was really only ever one choice of beer, which will become clear as the reasons why, but for everybody, I am drinking Leffe, depending on who you call it or not. But yeah, it's my favourite drink, has been my favourite drink. And that was thanks to Andy, who so that's all good. But yeah, looking forward to this. Not sure where we're going to go with it, but we'll have fun along the way.
Indeed. And we've got a guest on tonight. We'll get to in just a second. They might know how to pronounce left better than you do. So just before we start, we want to give a quick shout out to the Happy Hour podcast. Now, they did their Guinness World Record breaking episode on the weekend. And when I say the weekend, I mean the whole of the weekend. 40 solid hours of podcasting. I watched as much of it as I could on YouTube. I had to sleep for a little bit of it, unlike them. Guys, you missed it, unfortunately, dude.
Yeah, I was away at Car Fest. My eldest daughter was dancing on the staff stage, try saying that after a couple of beers, but no, it's good. I think there was like 20-30 hours worth of live music, loads of artists, loads of stuff going on, but yeah, I was disappointed to miss it. Would love to have been involved.
Yeah, as it turned out, actually, there was a few empty spots before when we were due to go on. And myself and Andy ended up doing 3 hours on there, and Andy ended up doing 2. And there was a little bit of a guest spot from TBR Junior when our kids were on there as well.
Yeah, I did see that. I messaged that they'd finished, and he sort of said he was that and the other. And I said, yeah, I absolutely understand that. Bask in the glory of doing something that actually officially nobody else on the planet has done. So, yeah, all good.
Indeed. Now, before we introduce our guests, one last bit of business to take care of, and that is the beers that I am drinking tonight. And these beers have been ordered from a company called Belgian Beer Company. So the first one I have here now, which I've been drinking just before we started, is the Limoncello Prima Donna Ale. And I've got to be honest, it's a nice little palate cleanser. And then I have a couple of these, which is the Bruges Zot and then the Bruges Zot Double. So I am looking forward to cracking those open shortly. But without further ado, because we've rambled on a little bit longer than we normally do, let's introduce our guest. Would you like to say hello and tell us a little bit about your company?
Yeah, well, my name's Sam, short for Samantha, and I own the Belgian Beer Company and have done since 2008. Basically, I set it up from scratch. So everyone that normally emails me or communicates with me on social media, they always think I'm a bloke, and then they see me in person, it's like, oh my god, so you're Sam. So yeah, I am a woman, a bit unusual, but I love Belgian beer, and there you go. Started off probably 22 years ago, tender age of 18, and I started to work in Den Engel, the Belgian bar and leak, because that's where I'm from originally. Worked there behind the bar for about 4.5, 5 years. Got to know loads and loads about Belgian beers. Tasted quite a few. And then a few years later, set up the Belgian Beer Company, and basically it's just grown and grown since then.
Fair play. Well, actually, our other host, Andy, is probably one of your most regular customers.
Yeah. Which is why I've agreed to come on here. This is not my thing. I don't do podcasts or anything. But yeah, he's one of my local customers.
That's it. So yeah. So like I say, Andy, he orders, I know he does order a fair bit of beer from you. And like I say, I ordered these beers from you myself. So, I'm not as regular as Andy, but I was indeed the first click and collect customer that you ever had.
Oh, brill. Yeah.
Notoriety.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I'm memorable here. So like you said then, so that's how you first got into Belgian beer, which is interesting. That. So tell us a little bit more about the pub then or the bar, that you worked in, and how you got brought into the idea of Belgian beer?
Well, Den Engel was one of the first bars in the UK to start to sell Belgian beers. I think it still exists there now. It's got new owners, I think, recently. And literally, I was 18, got a bar job. My dad knew the owners, Jeff and Hilary, at the time, and he was like, "Oh yeah, come work for us." So I used to do it just in between studying and university. Got to taste quite a few and was just really, really interested in all the different types of Belgian beers. Before I was a Stella drinker. Used to just drink pints of Stella, and then literally they introduced me to loads of different styles. And well, to be fair, I haven't drank anything else apart from Belgian beers probably since then. Just love the variety and the strength as well. 2008, started to sell Belgian beer glasses on eBay. That's how I started off. Was every single Belgian beer has got its own glass. As you can see from what you're drinking, you've got your chalice glasses, you've got Pilsner shaped glasses, you've got tulip shaped glasses, and it's part of the Belgian experience. It's what they like to do in Belgium, just to enhance the taste of the beer. A couple of years after that, got a unit in Newcastle, started to sell Belgian beers. 5 years ago, we moved to Longton. And then last year, we came to this place on Festival Park, basically just behind Vodafone.
Indeed,
Yeah, which is why you can now do click and collect. We've got a click and collect room for local customers. You can get 10% off if you just choose that option. Otherwise, it's free local delivery, but we do obviously ship UK-wide.
Yeah, you do, which is, like I say, it's fantastic. And if you do go into the click and collect room, you'll see, if you're watching this on the YouTube version of the podcast, this fabulous mural that you have behind you.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah. They're basically part of Belgian culture. The different characters. Obviously, they're all drinking. They're not in the stories, but yeah, they're all part of the Belgian story.
And so, have you visited Belgium yourself? Have you been out to Belgium and indulged in a few?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, just love it. Love the culture. Love everything about Belgium, from the beers to the chocolates to the waffles. When it comes to beer, obviously they're one of the best in the world. I think they've got a long history of brewing. A lot of the beers that we stock here, they've been brewing them for hundreds of years. A lot of them are family-run businesses. They're in the 5th, 6th generation of brewing. They basically just know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Really good quality.
Absolutely. And like I say, Gaz is drinking Left tonight, which is probably one of the more popular, more well-known beers. Actually, you can tell us then, how is that pronounced? Because I pronounce it Left, you pronounce it.
Well, I originally pronounced it Leffe.
Yeah.
I've been then sort of told that it's actually Left. No, I don't know.
Left. Yeah. A lot of people say Leffe, don't they? Leffe blonde, Leffe dark, whatever. But yeah, Left would be, I think, the main pronunciation for it.
Going forward, then that's what it'll be. It's now Left. So I shall. And if anybody asks, why is it Left?
Exactly.
A Belgian beer.
Yeah,
although I'm not a Belgian speaker, I am from Leek, so I could be wrong.
So what would be your? And you mentioned that you've tried a few Belgian beers or more. What would be your sort of type of Belgian beer? Have you got a go-to that you would always a favourite, effectively?
Yeah, I've got a favourite style. So I haven't got a favourite beer. I think there's just too many of them. But I tend to drink all the dark beers. I like the multi ones. I like the stronger ones. The Christmas beers in particular, I love all of those. The blondes for me are a bit too citrusy, a bit too floral. I'm not keen on hoppy beers, although my husband drinks them. So to be fair, we're a perfect pair in that respect. I'll bring some beers home. I'll have the dark, he'll have the blonde, which goes down well with him. But yeah, it depends what style you like, and that's the beauty of them. There's so many different styles. It's best just trying a few, see what you like, take it from there.
The left's about 6.6%.
Yeah.
Is that about the standard strength that you would drink? Would you drink much stronger than that?
Dark beers tend to be stronger. So anything from 7 up to 12. But again, they're not sessional ales, are they? You're not supposed to, be necking them like you would pints of lager. You treat them like a fine wine. You might just have 1 or 2 in a night. And they're to be savoured rather than downed.
I can't say we always follow that.
No. We all quite like that. We'll have another one.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's 12%.
Yeah.
So why they don't sell Leffe in pints?
I don't know.
They're strong, aren't they? When I worked at Den Engel, loads of people would come up to me and say, "Can I have a pint of Leffe?" And it's like, you do realise it's 6.5%. It's not like a lager. We sell them in half-pint glasses.
It's funny because one of the first times I got sort of introduced, it was Andy and Adam really that introduced me to Belgian beers. Now I was a lager drink. That's just what you do. You go out and have a Stella, and we went down to London at an NFL game because we American football, and Andy took us to a place called Belgo, and it's closed down. A fantastic place, and we went in there, and we had a bottle of the Duchess. I mean, that's a separate story, so I'll let Adam recount that later. And we went in, and I think it was a Delirium, and I said, "Oh, I'll have a pint," being really uninitiated.
Yeah.
Andy sort of said, "Well, you won't." And I was like, "No, what a pint?" And he went, "They won't sell you in a pint."
No.
It was whatever Delirium is, like 10, 11%, whatever it is. And I said, "Do that a lot?" And he's like, "Yeah, you'll get them in like thirds or halves or okay, half. I'll just drink it twice as fast, basically." And Andy's like, "They won't serve it, you dude." Like literally, you might get a couple, and then they'll go right. Effectively, you've had enough. So that was one of my first experiences of it. I'd seen Left before, and I'd sort of tried it and enjoyed it. But I think it was definitely Andy's influence that sort of got me thinking about there's so many just different types of beer out there, because I was always a bitter lager drinker. That's what you did. My dad drank bitter, so I drank bitter. Growing up, all my mates drank lager, so you just drink lager. That's what you do. And that's really bad, like really uninitiated and uneducated. But now I stay clear of the lager, and I will look for a pale ale. I look for a different type of real ale, and I'm always going back to the sort of craft beer type market. You know what I mean? So, but no, that was Andy. It was Andy that sort of said to me initially, you won't get them in pints. They won't. They just don't do it. They won't do it.
No, they don't. And the glasses, reflect that. I'm sure, on your Leffe glass, you've probably got a 33 LCL line on the back. If not, it's probably been made for a pub, so you'll have a half-pint line on the back.
Yeah, it is.
Purely because it's for the bottle, the 33 CL bottle. Again, German beers tend to be bigger bottles, 50 CL. Your Belgian beers, most of them 33 CL. Some of them are even 25 CLs, smaller still.
They are. I'd say the one that I'm drinking now is the Bruges, which is, like I say, bought from there, and out of the glass that I got free when we played. Yeah, the Drac one, which is very, very nice. Nice small glass as well to drink out with a little gold rim. So one of the beers there that Gaz mentioned, we had a few beers. Now, I ordered it because I quite like the look of the label. It had a very traditional style looking label, and that was the Duchess de Bourgogne.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of that one?
No. Literally, it's a Flemish sour ale. It's like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. I have some customers that literally only buy that style of beer, and they love it.
Yeah.
For me, it's like drinking vinegar.
Yeah, those are the exact words we use.
I could drink Sarsons and have an equally bad experience. But it's interesting because There's a lady that lives sort of 3 houses down from us, quite close, and her and her husband are Belgian beer fan. Well, they're actually craft beer fans, really, so German, Belgian. And she absolutely loves sours. And I was recounting the story about the Duchess, and she went, "Oh, I love that." And I said, "What, you would willingly go and buy that?" She's like, "Yeah, love it."
Yeah.
I just can't get my head around. Literally different people's palates, and I was just hated it.
Have you tried different flavoured ones then? Because I bought those from there actually. There's the chocolate cherry and the cherry. Have you tried either of those?
We stocked them for a while, but the problem is it's not one of our core products. So basically, our importers will get it as like a one-off. So I think we had like 2 crates of each beer. Because I didn't like the Duchess, I didn't try the other 2. Should have done, really. I know. Were they any better?
Yeah.
Really?
The cherry wasn't. The cherry was about as bad.
Okay.
The cherry took a little bit of the vinegar away, but then again, cherry and vinegar isn't a great mix, I would suggest. But the chocolate cherry, I've got to tell you, it was actually really enjoyable.
Right.
It had an after sort of sour taste to it, but it was really smooth when you first tasted it. But it left a taste in your mouth of chocolate rather than that sort of
horrible burning.
Yeah, or bile. But honestly, it was a really. I would buy that one again. I would get that beer again. It was really decent.
Just completely put me off. We've done a couple of sort of podcasts and said we're going to have to give it another go. And Adam bought a bottle of it, and I tried it for a second time. It's just as bad, really. But your brother, he said he preferred that than Duvel. Duvel again.
Go on. Go on. Is it Duval or is it Duvel? For
Duvel is what I say, but
gee whiz, Andy will be upset.
Yeah.
But in 500, I'll take that. Well, I bought my brother, so he'd seen us drink the Duchess on the podcast, and he said he can't be that bad. I said, "All right, son, I'll buy you a bottle of it if you don't think it's so bad, and I'll buy you a bottle of Delirium Red as well, so you can see what a good beer tastes like." He hated the Delirium Red.
Really?
But enjoyed the Duchess.
Yeah.
Mad.
It's
different people's taste buds.
I can't fathom that, because for me, like Andy, it's Andy's lad's first birthday this weekend, and he said to me, he says, because he lives in Stockport, he said, "Listen, make sure you're not driving. I've got a keg of the Delirium Red in." I was like, "Good lad." I won't be getting up early on a Sunday morning. There's a friend of mine who's working with me that day. So just out of interest then, obviously, you're running a business at the moment, and everything we hear when you watch the news is the challenges from the economic climate. You know, you're seeing inflation run to sort of, obviously I was born in the, I won't tell you when, but let's just say the early-ish 70s. And I've got a recollection just from tales that I was told of inflation being this high. So it's very challenging running a business at the moment, especially with the cost of electricity and gas and everything. So, how are you coping with that, if you don't mind us asking? Because I've got to be honest with you, if anybody uses this website, and it's going to be in the show notes, so you can click on it, and we'll put it on our website, on the blog post, as we always do. Go and have a look, because like I say, they ship UK-wide, and they are a fantastic company with a great range of beers. Well, your prices are very, very reasonable, and it must be very challenging to keep them at that rate.
Yeah, and it is. Thankfully, because we use 2 importers, we're not importers ourselves, we're classed as an online retailer. So obviously we use importers and wholesalers. They bring the beers into the UK, and then they sell them to businesses such as ourselves, bottle shops, pubs, etc. So there's always going to be that on cost involved. Literally, they've bought it from the breweries. They've shipped it across to the UK. There's big import tax on high strength beers. So they're never going to be cheap, because they are high strength Belgian beers, they're high quality products. And with that comes a tax and a cost. But, we're like everyone else. We have to be competitive. But at the end of the day, we're selling a really good quality product. We've used really good quality packaging, and we use DPD. So if you're not local, then it all gets shipped out by DPD. And thankfully, orders get to our customers in one piece Very rare do we get breakages. But yeah, it is tough. I think it's tough for all businesses at the moment, whether you're a massive conglomerate or, a small family-run business like ourselves. It's one of those things that we've just got to try and get through.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It is they're very challenging times, and I think when you're looking ahead and you're watching the news, which I try not to do, I don't see it being getting any better anytime soon. So, I think, like I say, fair play to yourself, like I say, for keeping your prices as reasonable as you can. Another company that we love, I'll give him a quick plug, Dixon Flannel Company, Danny Dreyer. So he's the guy who founded that company. He jumped online and literally said, look, we know how challenging it is. The cost of our production has gone up, the cost of lighting, the cost of shipping, everything has gone up. The cost of the materials that we buy in has gone up. But we're looking at ways that we can keep it cheap for you because we know that you're feeling the pinch as well. So
Yeah.
fair play to to them and to yourselves for doing that.
Just one question I had, and in a way, excuse my ignorance if you already do this, but we locally to us there's a gin festival and sponsor barrels of beers. Have you, or do you, or would you consider effectively going to your festivals and having an outlet at your festivals that you then promote your Belgian beer company? Is that something that you currently do?
No, but we've been there and we've done that. We used to go up and down Staffordshire, Cheshire, doing all the food and drink festivals before children. Before we had our family, because basically our weekends were free. And then literally we had 2 children and it was like, do we want to spend all weekend in a food and drink festival in a marquee or spend time with our kids? And that's one of the decisions we had to make. Some of them are great for selling and promoting, others not so great. It was like a really hit and miss thing really to go to, and a lot of hard work. My God, the cake companies and stuff, they work their backsides off to get all their cakes prepared for a festival, for a weekend, and then if nobody turns up, they're literally giving the cakes away. And it's such a shame. You've got a lot of really hard-working people that run really small businesses, and they do rely on those food and drink festivals, don't they?
Yeah. So the only reason I ask is because Carfest, one of the areas, there was a food fest, there was a spa fest. So obviously in the food fest bit, there was loads of different companies. There was food, there was sort of beer, there was alcohol free, there was plant-based food, loads and loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Got me thinking of as would there be a Belgian beer company tent marquee?
Yeah.
And was that something that you've done? But obviously you have, and then gone down another route. We set up the Belgian beer company so that I wouldn't have to put my my kids into nursery full time. That was the whole idea of running our business. For us, that's not what we wanted to do. And to be fair, for the last 10 years, we've not had to. And then literally COVID struck. And then obviously everyone was buying beers online. A lot of the pubs, all the pubs were shut. And I went from doing 3 days a week to 16-hour days, 7 days a week, and literally didn't see my kids for 2 years. It's one of those balances, isn't it? Of we did really well, and a lot of companies obviously shut down. So it's hard. Is it yourself and your husband? Have you got a team in terms of?
We've got staff,
your website, and all of that.
Yeah. So no, my husband's got what he classes a proper job. So it's literally, this is my business, and then I've got warehouse staff here. They do all the picking and packing. We've got a website company that obviously runs the website side of things, marketing company, payrolls outsourced and such as well. So we try our packaging company, a lot of that's from Stoke-on-Trent, try and use as many local businesses as we can really. So yeah, it's a small, really well-run company. very low overheads. I have 4 beer deliveries a week. You know, I can take you into the warehouse in a bit, but I don't keep a lot in stock. Basically, we order what we sell, and then it arrives the next day or within a couple of days. You know, we're very, very fortunate in the fact that we're not having to hold lots and lots of stock.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, was in terms of the turnaround, how quickly would it be? So if you had a huge influx of people wanting left, for example,
Yeah.
what would be the turnaround in terms of you thinking, oh crikey, we haven't got enough in stock, we have to then import it to then deliver? What would be that turnaround time?
It's already been imported. It's already in the country. It's with our wholesalers and importers. Literally, we have 4 beer deliveries a week. So customers don't really wait that long. We put on the website, you know, normally orders are dispatched within 3 working days. Local deliveries, because I can literally just drive up and deliver it myself. If not one day, then maybe the same day, if not 2 days. But you're not looking for, you know, a week or a few weeks or whatever to get your beers. It's quite a quick turnaround, really.
Fair play, fair play. It's interesting there as well, you say about how the pandemic and obviously people having to stay home actually impacted your business in a positive way. And this is what we found. Actually, I forget who it was we were talking to in the last couple of weeks, and we were speaking to them. And again, you know, you would have, whenever you think about it, there's so many negative connotations. But actually, you forget that some people who were really keen, really well set up in what they had to offer, like online retailers such as yourself, actually benefited from what had gone on. And don't get me wrong, it was a terrible time for all people. But it's wonderful to hear that during that terrible time that there were people that were benefiting from that, and that is you know, it's great to hear, isn't it?
Oh, no, I mean, in times of trouble, and you know, it's great to see that small businesses might thrive, and you might get, like yourself, you know, you've spotted a niche, you've developed it, it's grown, maybe through, luck is a wrong word, I suppose, with the pandemic, but circumstance would be that most people are then staying at home, can't then go and enjoy a beer outside, so then they look for alternatives, and actually one of them is, oh, go online and order it. Who is available? Belgian Beer Company, fantastic, and you've flourished, and I've gone from strength to strength. So yeah, in what a lot of people would class as quite a difficult time, and it was, and I'm not belittling the pandemic at all, it obviously negatively impacted lots of people, but it's great to hear that there were some people that actually were able to sort of see it through and grow and develop through that. So there is, I suppose, a yin and a yang. There is a positive spin from, you know, and it's great that you've managed to do that, and you're now obviously thriving, and you know your company's going from strength to strength, clearly. So, I mean, is there something that you were looking at in the future? I mean, that was a question I was thinking. You obviously have this huge online sort of retail. Is there something that you're thinking? Is there another market you want to be getting into? Is there add-ons? Are there other product services that you're thinking of maybe branching out into?
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, that's probably one reason, you know, we've survived 14 years and hopefully for much longer. We started off selling Belgian beer glasses on eBay, then we went into Belgian beers, and then we've gone into German beers, British beers, American, French, Czech. So we've always tried to change our range of beers and what we actually provide to our customers. You know, at the moment, we've literally just had the Oktoberfest beers arrive. So for anyone that can't get out to Germany, to Munich and to the Oktoberfest, then they can just throw their own Oktoberfest party at home. And that's something we're always looking at doing. We've just recently, at the end of last year, got our wholesale licence. So again, that means now that we can sell to businesses, not just the general public. And the whole aim for that, because we're a small company, we know that it is really difficult. If you've got to buy crates and crates of beer from an importer or a wholesaler, and you haven't got the space or the money, then we wanted to bridge that gap. So what we're trying to do at the moment is advertise the fact that, you know, if you're a small bottle shop, you've not got a lot of fridge space, you've not got a lot of storage room, or even if you're a pub and you just want to try some new beers, you know, we can sell all of our Belgian beers, most German beers in packs of 6. Try it out, see if it sells, see if it works, and if it does, great. If it doesn't, you're not stuck with a load of stock that you can't shift.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it. We had a guy on recently that we Cam from the Beer Guide Worldwide. So they promote sort of different beers that he tries online. So he's got a pretty big Instagram following and Facebook following. And interesting enough, he's organising an Oktoberfest thing in Liverpool in the UK. And like you say, that's becoming huge. I've seen you got your Oktoberfest beers in stock. And I'll probably be ordering some of them soon. But so different trends then. What different trends are you seeing? And I've been doing this for a while. Do you see different trends, and what do you think will be the next big trend in beer and Belgian beer?
Well, Oktoberfest German, isn't it? So at the moment, obviously, end of August, September, beginning of October, most of it will be Oktoberfest. You know, it's the Oktoberfest season. After that, you can start getting into Christmas presents, don't you? So half of the Christmas beers will start to arrive. In fact, for whatever reason, we've already got some in stock. They've arrived quite early this year. So again, that's another big trend. It's all your dark, strong beers that are quite cinnamony and, you know, just ideal for Christmas, really. We also get quite a few gift packs in stock that time of year, because obviously people are buying for people, aren't they? Gifts, beer gifts. Gin wise, I don't know. They say rum's the next thing, don't they? I'm not sure. I don't know. Gin's still pretty popular.
Yeah. They've been saying this for a while now that rum's going to be really growing in popularity, but I don't think gin's had its day yet. We had some friends, didn't we, who had their own online gin company, and they dabbled in the rum. And I have to say, actually, their rum was very, very good. Double Trouble, wasn't it? Unfortunately, they're not going anymore. They're moving on to, I'll say bigger and better things. I'll big him up because I don't know what his next plan is. But their rum was really good. So do you sell gins and things then as well?
Geneva gins, so they're from Belgium. A lot of them are the gin liqueurs, so about 20%, and they're flavoured with something. We've got a few that aren't, that are just like literally pure natural gin, about 40-45%, but they all come from Belgium. Yeah.
See, I went to Amsterdam a few years ago and we did the Bowls experience. Obviously, I know that's Holland, and that was Geneva, or I forget what it's called, Geneva, they call it. So it'd be Geneva gin then. It's all the different flavours. And obviously, everybody's heard of Bowls, but we don't think of it as being that sort of spirit, do we?
Yeah. I just want to take you back to something you said in terms of wholesale license. I visited a bar. And they had their normal sort of beers on tap, and I noticed a bottle fridge and loads of Belgian beers in there. And I got chatting to them. He said, "Oh, we ordered them in, and there was Le Chouf in there, and there was a couple of others. So there was what was the glass that I nicked from? What was it called?
St. Barnabas."
Yes, and I pinched a glass because I was like, right, I'm having that. I was just curious. So, what would be the minimum effectively order? So, if a bar or somebody came to you and said, "We want to try this. We're going to do a Belgian fridge with loads of different things," would it be 6? Would that be the
so 6 bottles is their minimum order quantity, whereas a crate of beer is predominantly for Belgian 24.
Yeah.
And it just gives companies a bit more chance to try different things, I suppose.
Yeah.
That was the whole aim of it. Keep costs down, free up some of their storage.
You're not stuck with huge, vast quantities of stock then, are you? And if it doesn't, then you reorder, and that's great.
Yeah.
What you suppose is, vast crates of stuff that you can't shift.
No.
And I was curious, and I only stumbled across it, and I was sort of having a look as to what do I fancy, and I just looked, oh, and sort of I opened the fridge, and there was like 2 or 3 different sort of Belgian beers. I was like, oh, my night's sorted now. Then try a couple and then pinch a glass. You know, sorry, because I'm probably going to go there again next year.
Oh. Well, that was a good story actually. When I worked at Den Engel in Leek, there's a Belgian beer called Quack, and I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's like 8.5%. It's an amber beer, but the glass is almost like a yard of ale type of shaped glass. It's got a rounded bottom, and because it's got a rounded bottom, obviously it won't stand up. So it comes with a wooden stand. Very expensive. Even I pay a lot of money for these Quack glasses and stands. So what they used to do is they had a like a wicker basket in the middle of the bar, and basically every time you had a Quack and it came with the proper Quack glass and stand, you'd have to put one of your shoes in the basket. The basket would get hoisted up onto the ceiling, so basically you couldn't run out the pub nicking it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
I won't tell the landlord of the bar.
No.
What a great story that is.
Bro, I'll tell you a way around it. Flip-flops. You're basically walking around barefoot anyway, aren't you?
Sort of some cheap flip-flops.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely.
You're onto a win.
Yeah, exactly.
Ignore me on that one. That's a terrible idea. So when we talk about beer trends as well, which we were there then, so one of the big things recently has been non-alcoholic beer. Do you sell much non-alcoholic beer?
It is surprising how much non-alcoholic beer we sell. We've got a customer actually that live in Essex, and they buy 50 cases of Erdinger alcohol-free offers every other month.
Wow.
I'd quite like it.
That is a lot of beer.
Well, I know when Andy's little lad is one, and one of the beers he was drinking when Amy was close to going into labour was the Erdinger, and he said that was the best one. He says of all the non-alcoholic beers he tried, that was the best one. And we've threatened to do this as a podcast episode quite a few. Well, we've threatened the last 2.5 years, where we're going to get like the non-alcoholic beer and then the alcoholic equivalent.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident we'll tell the difference, but just see how close they are.
It's strange because Andy, he lived in Belgium for a while, and that's where I think his love of Belgian beer sort of came from. And he, I won't say is 100% confident, like he probably would say he was, but you know, in 95 to 99% certain, he will be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
So we were like, right, we're going to put you to the test. We'll give you some alcohol free. We'll give you some alcohol rich. Knock yourself out. And he was like, no, I can definitely tell, because he was a bit like you. He will drink 9, 10, 11, 12% beers, and that's like a soup song for him. You know, he's like, right, that's just my little aperitif, and I'll go on to the main stuff. But we've sort of threatened to do that for a while, and it's interesting because we've had people from over in America. A lot of our listeners are over in the States, and they're talking about the increase in people going out and there's alcohol-free bars. You know, literally like there's no alcohol in the whole place, and there's various different flavors and styles, but it's all alcohol-free, and it is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger.
It is. It is. I mean, Johnny Simo is a great exponent of it. Yeah, he swears by the Bush. So, is that one of the American beer? Do you sell the American beer Bush at all?
We've got a Belgian beer called Bush, but it's very strong. It's like 12%.
Yes, I've tried that one.
Bush character.
Yeah, and Johnny Simo, if you're listening, I'm afraid that is a lot better than the beer you have over there.
That drank quite a lot, but then made a decision to go alcohol free, and he's been doing it now.
It's 2 years now,
that he's just been drinking up, and he swears by it. He's like, and it's just curious. Have you seen as a Belgian beer company, as an online bottle company, now you've got wholesale license, are you seeing an increase in alcohol free?
We tend to sell alcohol-free beers all year round to certain customers, but in January, obviously, you've got all your New Year's resolutions coming into place there, and that's when we'll just see a big boom in non-alcohol-free. But it's funny you say that, because a lot of breweries are now doing a non-alcoholic version. It's like Bruges Brewery, for example, the one that you're drinking.
Yeah.
They now do a sport Zot, which is an alcohol-free version of Bruges Brewery Blonde.
Ah,
They also do a non-alcohol-free version. Obviously, your Erdinger, there is quite a few of the Germans. Like we sell a lot of Jever Fun, which is a non-alcoholic German Pilsner. Very popular. So maybe it is. And the other thing is we've noticed quite a lot now, the packaging's changing and it's starting to say low calorie.
right, yeah.
So again, it's a selling point, I suppose, isn't it?
Absolutely. I will just say though that go on, tell me how it's pronounced. Is it Brugsot? Is it
Brugsy.
Brugsy? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'll tell you what, I've just proved I can't pronounce it.
And Brugsy is obviously Bruges, the people of Bruges. And Zot is obviously the jester, the clown.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go. There you go.
okay, so
And if you ever go to Bruges, you should definitely go to that brewery. It's amazing, so interesting. They do obviously the Bruges Zot range where they've got the double and the blonde, that non-alcoholic version, but they also do the Straffer range. So your Straffer Hendrick triple, amazing.
Yeah. So the Straff Hendrick, yeah, absolutely, yeah. One of my favourite beers. I have to say, this is the first time I've had the double, and I much prefer this to the blonde. It's an absolute belt to that. So yeah, alcohol free at 7.5%.
And it's interesting as well, actually, because the brewery's in the middle of literally the city centre. They've had to build an underground pipeline. So all of the beer gets transported down this underground pipeline to their bottling plant. It's amazing. It's such a really good brewery to go and visit.
I know that, Andy obviously has lived in Belgium for a while, and I know that you went and you went to visit, and it's one of the things that TBR, and I would love to do, is actually go there and let Andy just take me on an adventure in terms of sort of discovering various because you had a great time, didn't you? You went and it was...
We did. So yeah. So Andy used to live in Brussels. We visited Brussels, and then we had a day trip to Bruges, and he took us to this bar. And then we were on the train on the way back. And he says, "Oh, you know that bar we were in earlier?" I said, "Yeah." It's literally right next to a brewery. We should have gone in there. Yeah, we should. Why are we mentioning this on the train journey home when that was obviously the Bruges Zot, which I probably just pronounced wrong again. So, one of the things you mentioned there earlier then as well is obviously your journey into Belgian beer started in a bar, and obviously doing what you're doing now on your retail side of it, and obviously now the wholesale side of it. Is there any part of you now that your children are getting a little bit older and coming out of nursery, that would you ever do a bottle shop? Would you ever do a bar as an add-on to what you do?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the nighttime working, isn't it? You'd have to get staff to manage it, I think. I think as well, because I'm quite a massive control freak. I like to be involved in everything, and I want to do it all myself. And I think one of the hardest bits of the last couple of years is basically saying I can't do everything. I can't physically do this, do that, do the other. I'm just going to have to get staff in. It's hard, isn't it?
It's your baby, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
And I suppose you've got that, as you just said, that catch-22, that dilemma of we want to try and reap benefits, we want to try and grow business, but at the same time, there's only 24 hours in a day, and you can't do everything. So it's how much do you let go and then trust other people to then run it?
Yeah.
Not doing very well, or do you just go, we're happy with what we're doing, that's the level we're at, I can manage family life, my work life, and all of that, and that's where we sit.
Yeah, it's so hard because it's my business and it's my reputation, and for me, you're buying quite an expensive product. Belgian beers isn't cheap. You need a good service. You need your beers on time. You need them in one piece. And that's what I've always tried to achieve. You know, the past 14 years, it's about, well, how can we provide the best kind of service to our customers, which is why probably a lot of them come back and use us. And it is hard, you know, trying to hand that down to others. I don't know.
No, I get that.
I can tell you're not up for that. I can tell straight away you're definitely not up for that. You're like, no, I'm going to do it. Well, I'm dead curious. Biggest, not necessarily as a wholesaler selling to other outlets, but an individual. What's the biggest order that you've had? I mean, obviously you're talking pounds, I assume, but is there an order that stands out in your memory? Is there something that you can talk about? What's the biggest order that you've?
I don't know. Christmas, people spend a lot of money on beer. The run up to Christmas especially. And I think people will tend to just, at the beginning of December, buy a lot, including gifts, beer gifts, glasses, gins, and that'll, you know, get them through Christmas and New Year. Everyone's budget's different, isn't it?
That's very true. That's very true. So what's your most popular line then? What's the beer that you sell the most of?
You will never ever believe this if I tell you. Honestly, it's not even Belgian.
Okay, tell me it's not Carling.
No, we don't stock Carling.
You just swore that around.
I don't know. That was bad language.
Honestly, yeah, we don't use them words in here. It's called Tint Meadow. Have you come across it?
Yeah, I've ordered a couple of bottles of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the only English Trappist beer.
Yeah.
Brewed by monks in Leicestershire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is our biggest seller and has been for the last probably, well, since we started to brew it, really.
That's incredible. That's really surprising. That.
Yeah.
That's really surprised me.
Excuse my ignorance. I didn't know there were Trappist monks in Leicester.
No, yeah. So yeah.
I do now.
When we did the episode with Todd and Johnny the first time around,
yeah,
that was the beer I was drinking.
Really?
Yeah, I ordered the Tint Meadow, yeah, which is interesting. That's when we were doing it as a more predominantly beer podcast. Yeah. So yeah, I did. I ordered it from Belgian beer as well, obviously, because you know, like you say, myself and Andy are really, you know, more so Andy, if I'm going to be really honest, more like really sort of repeat customers. And Andy's ordered some of the more expensive beers from you as well. So I think he placed it, for me, it's the sort of thing that'll get me a kick in the backside from the wife. But I think he spent 75 quid on 2 bottles. But what's your most expensive product there that you have on stock at the moment?
It's probably not in stock because it's that rare that I can only get hold of it 3 or 4 times a year. But Cantillon is probably one of our most expensive products. Very rare Belgian beer. We've got a massive waiting list. You know, we've got one of the beers that's got over 500 people waiting for it.
Wow.
Literally, as soon as I list it on the website, it'll be gone within seconds.
Blimey.
Yeah.
And is the waiting list that long because it's so specialist they don't produce?
It's rare, yeah. You can't get a lot of it. They don't brew a lot of it. I think if you go for or try and get a brewery tour, you might be given a few bottles and that'll be it. It's hard to get hold of. My imported probably gets between 3 and 4 deliveries a year of it. Small quantities.
And again, is that because they just don't brew the quantities? There's just not a mass production of it.
That's it. Yeah. So it's a special beer in a lot of people's eyes. You know, if you're a proper beer enthusiast, then everybody wants a bottle of Cantillon, especially the rare varieties.
Right.
And do you find people will will order? Because I suppose I'm thinking down whiskey, so they will order it and then not necessarily drink it. So they order it to keep and then age.
Yeah. So for example, Orval, which is another Trappist beer, Belgian Trappist beer. A lot of my customers won't drink that straight away. So I'll get a lot of emails before somebody places an order saying, oh, what's the date on your Orval? Because they want old Orval. and then literally they will put it in their cellar, and then in 10 years' time or whatever, then they'll crack the bottle open. It's mad. It's not something me or my husband would ever do, but some of our customers like aged beer.
Yeah, beer doesn't last that long.
Because obviously you hear stories of bottles of age-old Irish whiskey going for thousands and thousands of pounds or stuff. So what would have you sold something? Have you heard of the most expensive bottle of beer? Is there something that you would sell that then has either been purchased from yourself and then resold, or?
It's not something we ever get hold of. The beer that we tend to buy is newly brewed beer. It comes straight from the breweries, straight to the UK. You know, you're not looking at aged old beers, but you know, you can go onto some beer sites on the internet and places, and you can see how much like a bottle of like West Electron's gone for that's like 20 years old, or it's just crazy money. It's like whiskey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember like Buxton Brewery do one called Yellow Belly. And I remember when I was buying that, and the guy said to me, he says, what you want to do is you want to put a few of these in the cupboard and then drink them in 10 years' time. I was like, no, I'm going to drink it tonight. To be honest, it's a really good beer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is a crap.
As well, I think a lot of the Belgian beers, with how they're brewed, they don't actually go off. You know, they taste perfectly fine even after it's not a use by date, is it, on beer? It's a best before date. But you know, you can drink beer that's a year out of its best before date, and it'll taste fine. You know, better than fine. It's just a bit stronger.
Yeah, this is it. I was speaking to Ryan from the Pub Time podcast who had had on, and he tried the Golden Drac beer. So Andy had mentioned that too. And he got a few of those in, and he read that like it continues to ferment in the bottle. He was like, so if I put this in my cupboard, is it going to taste like even better than 10 years' time? I was like, well, no, dude. I'll take your word for it. Let me know.
Let me know in 10 years' time.
Yeah, he didn't. He cracked it open. Yeah, God bless him. So we talked. Gaz mentioned you a little bit earlier then about your favourite beer. So if you were to make a beer, your signature beer, what would it be, and what would you call it? And you can answer that one as well.
Oh God, I don't know. You've put me on the spot there, haven't you?
Should we make Gaz go first?
Yeah.
You put me on the spot.
I
went through a phase of I love Hoegaarden, depending on how you pronounce it. So I always thought I would have like a wheat tea beer, but I don't know what I'd call it. I think it would be a wheaty, cloudy ale. I don't know what I would probably want it to be 7.5%, 8%, so punchy enough, but not. Oh God, you can't call it. Put me on the spot now. I would. You know, come back to me. Let someone talk about her being. I'll think of a name in a minute. I'll come back to you.
We don't need it.
I haven't got a clue about a name, but if I was going to brew a beer, it'd have to be dark, like a porter, strong, like a quad, something that packs a punch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just malty.
So you like your porters, don't you?
I do love a good porter, yeah, and I do love a dark beer. For me, it'd probably be an imperial stout.
Yeah, they're good.
Something that's been sort of whiskey barrel aged and had a hint of as well. Because I do love the taste of banana. Because you sell the Mongozo banana. This guy ate. Is that a popular beer just out of interest, or is it just me who drinks it?
Do you know, it's a bit hit and miss. The coconut's probably more popular. Although saying that, the Mongozo coconut's really good if you're having a tie. Goes really well.
Yeah, I can imagine me drinking the coconut one, not the banana one. Just doesn't flame my boat at all.
Yeah. I think, well, it's the first time I had that was in Belgium. We went to the Delirium Bar and the Delirium Cafe, which is the smaller one. That's the first time I tried that. And to be honest, like I'd smashed so many sort of strong Belgian beers to have something nice and light. It's only about 3.5%.
Yeah.
It's a little refresher, a little pick me up for the rest of the day.
Did it come in the half coconut shell?
It didn't on that occasion, but I do have one of those half coconut shells myself. They're kindly donated by Andy.
And every type of drinking vessel you would ever wish. Half coconut, horns, helmet, all sorts of stuff, tankards, all sorts of stuff.
And just for clarification, he bought us. He didn't steal them from me. Yeah. And that is the interesting thing, though, isn't it, about Belgium? We touched on it earlier. Each beer has its own glass, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're a real beer snob, and I'll be interested to find out your opinion on this, you drink a different beer from a different glass. Do you really, really think it makes that much difference, if I'm honest? Or is it just it's just nice to have it out of the original glass, isn't it?
See, I would happily drink a lager out of a bottle, but when it comes to a Belgian beer, I can't do it at all. It's just wrong, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be in a glass.
Yeah.
But has it got to be in correct shape?
Yeah.
Does it have to be the correct?
See, some glasses are nucleated, aren't they, at the bottom? That's the whole point of them. It's like the Duvel glass. That's got that nucleation at the bottom so that it carries on fizzing. And it's that shape, the tulip shape, so that the aromas come out and you smell it when you obviously put your nose to it. So
Chalice glass, do the aromas not come out of that glass as well?
Any like large rimmed glass, that's what it's for. It's for the aroma.
Maybe, I mean, I'm obviously very uninitiated and uneducated, but I've
been saying that for years. And not just about beer.
Yeah, I was going to say, ever since I was 14, 15, but in a way, I know what I like and I like what I know, so I don't know any different so if I was to put a left into a chalice glass or a tulip glass, that experience of drinking it be significantly different for me? No.
Yeah.
That make me uninitiated, uneducated in terms of beer, and would a beer connoisseur notice the difference? I don't know.
It's like the whole wine glass situation, isn't it? Yeah. Your wine connoisseurs would know.
So do you get then? I'm assuming you do. Belgian beer connoisseur. Like drunks.
Yeah, no.
So what would it, because
you it's a beer connoisseur.
No, so what would be the Belgian beer equivalent? So is there a name for them? A beer connoisseur?
I would say so. I don't know if there's not a name for it. I tell you what, the damn well should be. Yeah.
You would have thought there would be.
Yeah, you've got beer connoisseurs, you've got beer enthusiasts, haven't you?
Yeah. I think that's the interesting thing over the last, certainly, like I say, certainly as long as you've been doing this. Like, as Gaz, you alluded to earlier, the sort of beers that you drank literally be your Carlin, your John Smith and stuff like that. Yeah. We all sort of grew up drinking that, and then all of a sudden you do find actually there's a better world out there in terms of this kind of stuff. And things like Belgian beer and the craft beer market in the US and the UK now is absolutely fantastic. The different beers you can get. Yes, it is expensive, but like a good wine or a good whiskey, it's worth paying for, because there is a vast difference between that mass-produced product and the stuff that you can pick up from your website. It's phenomenal. And if you want to educate yourself, then this is a great company to go and pick a few things up from. So now would be a great time if you want to share your social media stuff out and your website address so that people can find you online.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's just www.thebelgianbeercompany.com. We are only a UK-based company, though. It's just UK orders only. We've got a Facebook page, which is just the Belgian Beer Company. Again, a lot of people spell Belgium wrong, don't they? It's Belgian, not Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium.
For the company, for the country, rather. But yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All the beers are listed. We've got about 600 different types of beer in total. All the Belgian beers are available by the bottle. Most of the German ones are as well. So the beer glasses, beer gift packs, gins.
There you go.
Non-alcoholic beers too.
Whatever they are. So what we will do is we'll add a link into our show notes. If you're familiar with our website as well, we'll stick a tag into the blog as well about this podcast. It's a very, very short blog. I don't get a lot of time, because like yourself, I've got a couple of young kids that require my attention. But we'll stick a link into that, so you can jump on and you can click on and go straight to the website as well. So what we will do now, if it's okay by you as well, because you mentioned it earlier, we'll say our goodbyes for the people who are listening on the audio version, and then if it's okay by yourself, we'll have a quick nose around the warehouse, which the people watch the YouTube, which actually isn't very many people, so we'll give them a little bit of an incentive to do so, can do that. But before we do, Gaz is going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, just a shout out to Ollie's Snacks. If you want your olives, nuts, pretzels, chocolate pretzels, if you head over to ollies-ollies.com, get all your sort of savoury snacks. And if you do place an order on their website, they will donate a school meal to a child in need. So head over there, and if you use the promo code TallBoyRadio, all one word, all caps, you'll get 20% discount. It is only available in the UK, so sorry to our international listeners. But yeah, head over to ollies-ollies.com, all your savoury snacks.
Indeed. And like I say, with listeners now in 49 countries. Gee, we're waiting for that 50th, aren't we?
It's going to be the 50th, that's a big question.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, for our audio listeners, if you'd like to say your goodbye, Sam.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Indeed, Gaza.
Yeah, I've been educated. I've realised how uneducated I am on Belgian beer, but love this episode. Strangely enough, I love talking about beer. It's great. I love tasting it, and we've got a couple of pronunciations correct. We might have a couple of wrong words.
Absolutely.
But I love this, Sam, and lovely to have you on. Thank you very much for your sort of insight into the way the business runs and where it might go in the future. So, yeah, really enjoyed this episode.
Indeed. And as delighted as I am to hear that I've been pronouncing left correctly, I'm gutted now. I have to say Duvel. I can't say Duvel anymore. I have to say Duvel. I've been educated. At least it's not by him. So I will bid you a fond farewell and thank you all for listening. And we will look forward to catching up with you next time. So take care and thank you.
Too high or low?
No, yeah, you're fine. This is literally where Andy, Andy would love to spend the night in this place. Yeah, Andy would live there.
Just on that pallet.
So basically, I've been told it's a adult version of a sweet shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've just got rows and rows of beers. Start off Belgian beer, German beer, sorry. Again, all available by the bottle, and then we go up to all the different types. We've got 75 CL bottles as well. We sell a lot of them. Beers for sharing, we call them.
Oh, the Straffend. Yeah, I like that one.
Like basically a bottle of wine size. Good if you're having parties.
So how many? I mean, obviously the left bottle is a wine bottle size, and obviously you've just said the Straffender. Is that the one? Obviously,
Delirium.
Now there's a Delirium. That's it.
Yeah.
Literally go up and down and go, I like that.
We've got the Argentum.
Oh,
That's the hoppy amber IPA, that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
7%. It's not so strong as the Delirium Tremens.
No.
And then obviously you've got all your Trappist beers.
What's the strongest one you've got in there then, Sam?
Chimay.
Nice.
Got a whole aisle of blonde beers. So for yourself who drinks Leffe blonde, there's loads and loads to choose from.
Wow.
We tend to buy more and sell more blondes than we do darks, to be fair. Especially in the summer. I think they're just easier to drink. Dark beers tend to be more popular in the winter.
And do you think that because you get a lot of your cinnamon and your spice?
Yeah, exactly. They're just a bit stronger, aren't they? I suppose your blondes are a bit weaker. Then obviously all your fruit beers. Loads of like weird and wonderful flavours here. Yeah, we've got a chocolate beer.
Oh, okay.
Irish chocolate. It's got apple. There's your Delirium Red that you were on about.
Yes.
Fruli's very popular. That's your strawberry beer.
Mm.
Cherry Shoof. Don't know if you've tried that one. If you like Delirium Red, you probably like Shoof Cherry.
Yeah, it's a good one. I've drunk that. I have drank that on the podcast. I have.
Leffe Ruby, that's also very popular. But the stronger, a lot of people think the fruit beers are quite weak. And to be fair, some of them are, but then you've got like Leffe Ruby.
Yeah.
You know, what's that? Oh, it's not too bad, it's 5%.
Yes.
We've got Castile Rouge.
I like that. Oh, in cans as well. I'm only have it.
Yeah, cans. So we do the 25 cl cans as well as the 33 cl cans of them. Fritz Cola is very popular. Just Coca-Colas, but from Germany.
They are
very high caffeine content. No, they're just soft drinks.
Oh. There you go. We'll try one of that.
What's the strongest beer you've got in there at the moment then?
The Bush Character. I think it's about 12%. Let me just take you around.
It was a tiny rebel beer that we had in Scotland.
Right,
it was about 18%. Yeah.
We did have a Carol beer, and that was 15%. You see that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
So that's your 12%.
What would that sell for?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's about 5-6 quid.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Just take out of aisle. Like, I want one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest. So they're all your Oktoberfest. So we've got 6 different types in at the moment. Again, all available by the bottle. We do mixed cases of them as well.
Wow.
So if somebody said to you, right, I want an Oktoberfest party, do you hand select the beers, or would they say to you, right, I want 2 of this and 2 of this and 2 of this, or do you do it for them if they say, I just...
Yeah. The Oktoberfest we sell in packs of 6, and that's 1 bottle of each of the Oktoberfest beers. So again, they can just sample as and when. We do mixed cases. So for a lot of people, if they've not had a Belgian beer before, a lot of them will just buy like a something for everyone pack, because it's got a dark, it's got a blonde, it's got a fruit, it's got a wheat beer in. It's just got like 1 of each, and they can just sample them then.
And do you choose what goes into each of those
packs? Yeah. So we've put all the mixed cases together. And they're popular. You know, we've got blonde mixed cases. So for people that don't like dark beers, we've got a Trappist mixed case, which has got 12 different Trappist beers in. Really, really popular. It's probably one of our most popular mixed cases. We've got a Swinkles mixed case. We're doing quite a lot of work now directly with breweries. Another way of just keeping costs down, so we're not using wholesalers or importers, just by using breweries direct. So we've got a lot of their beers that it's surprising actually. They own loads of different breweries all over Belgium and Holland, Le Trappe being one of them.
About trying to brew, not necessarily you personally, but having an input into brewing your own beer and the flavours, and not
don't know enough about brewing. I'm good with tasting them and talking about them, but I wouldn't have a clue where to start with brewing. My granddad used to brew his own beer, and from the age of 4, probably was drinking a bit of home brew. So I blame my family from where my love of beers come from. It's my granddad's home brew, but to do it myself, I don't know. No, probably not.
I know. I certainly I probably shouldn't have made it really on here, but I've let my kids have a little go on the old beer, and Matilda let me down. She's 5, and she'd said to her mum, she said, "Oh, Daddy let me have some of his beer," and she said, "No, he didn't." She said, "No, he was." She said, "I like it because it's the one that tastes of plum." Oh, did he?
Titanic by any chance?
It was, yeah, funnily enough, yeah.
That place looks fun.
Mm.
Yeah, we're really, really pleased with it.
Oh, it's amazing. It is amazing. I've seen a few clips that you've shared online, but yeah, just it literally is like a sweet shop for adults, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Love it.
Oh,
We're very spoilt. This is the problem. We don't drink anything else.
no,
We need to.
I know. Why would you? Why would you when you got all that? Yeah.
Yeah, my husband's very lucky.
He is. He is. He's a very lucky man. Yeah. We need to befriend him.
I get loads and loads of people like Facebook me saying, "Do you need any chief tasters?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my husband's job."
Yeah, I bet. Well, that was going to be my next question as well.
Chief taster.
Yeah, if the application's there, we'll That's awesome. So thank you very much for giving us a little look round there. I'll probably take the audio off and add this on to the end of the podcast. So yeah, thank you for giving us a look round.
Thanks for inviting me. I've really, really enjoyed it more than I thought.
There you go.
There you go.
I told you it wouldn't be that bad.
No, good. Real. Thank you.